A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon session. It's now just 2 minutes after 6 o'clock, and we're going to start our training session. I trust that you're all well and had a good day today, a pleasant day, as we start to unpack a little bit this evening about the upcoming exams at UNISA. My name is Denzel Chetty, and I will be the program coordinator for the upcoming training session today. Together with me, you will find a panel of experts and a skilled group of colleagues that have taken the time off and made the sacrifice to specifically focus on how we can prepare you with the skills needed to advance with the my online exams at UNISA. Now, we know that it's that critical part of the year where many of you are stressed out about the online exams. Some of you are preparing, some of you are still completing some of your assessments, your assignments, and it's difficult. But we also want to try to make the online examination process a bit smoother for you by giving you the necessary skills that is needed so that you don't need to concentrate too much on the how to. So part of these sessions is really to provide you with that skills that are needed to make this journey smoother for you. Now, you will find that we have set up a group of a series of webinar sessions dedicated specifically like these live sessions to walk you through the online content and provide you with some training on how the exams platform works. We also have what we call the student blast sessions. Now, the student blast sessions are purposely designed to give you that interactivity where you can phone in on Teams, switch on your camera, share your screen, switch on your mic, and pose questions to a team of colleagues who are ready to assist you on how to navigate the exam platform and some of the technical issues that you may have. Now, today's session will focus on how to navigate the online exam platform, which is the myExam platform. What are some of the different online assessments that you need to prepare as you think about the exams at UNISA? We will also cover elements such as what is academic integrity. Now, I know you may have heard this concept being used in different spaces at UNISA, and we want to unpack that a little bit tonight. And then I'm sure many of you have already seen and heard about the proctoring tools at UNISA, and we want to showcase and demonstrate some of these proctoring tools and how it will be used at UNISA. Now, I should also say that you are privileged tonight because you will also launch the mock exam site with you tonight, a mock exam site that has been specifically developed for you to get into the site, test out how to answer, for example, an MCQ test, how to answer a take-home exam, and also explore a little bit about the proctoring tools that will be used as well. So you're really in an exciting space tonight as we start to unpack this. We will then also look at what provisions UNISA has made for students with special needs. And then we will also unpack a little bit about some of the frequently asked questions, the burning questions that you may have. Now, how will this session work? So we will have a lineup of presenters, as I mentioned earlier, that will unpack some of these key elements that I've just highlighted. In addition, you will find right at the top of your chat, at your screen, you'll find whatever device you're using, either the top or the bottom of your screen, you will find what we call a chat tool, right? So if you click on that chat tool, you will find what we call Q&A, questions and answers chat. Now, we have a group of experts that are really in the background waiting to answer some of your questions. So all I want you to do is post your questions on the chat, and the colleagues will then answer the questions. Some of the questions that are like more current questions that are keeping repeated, we will then publish it and the responses to it so that you can also see that. Now, just to make sure that you all have access to the chat, you are seeing us and you can hear us loud and clear, I want you quickly to go onto the Q&A, the chat, and just post number 1 so that we know that you are with us and you can hear us and you can see us. So get onto the Q&A chat, onto the chat tool right on the top or the bottom of your screen, and simply post the number 1, right? Just 1 so that we know that you are fully accessible tonight. So at this time, we also privileged to have with us Ms. Pindiwe Kamalani, who's the ODL Program Executive and also the Chair of the Examination Processes at UNISA. And it's our privilege to have her with us to actually welcome you and also share a few words. At this time, I'm going to welcome Ms. Kamalani. Thank you, Pindiwe, for joining us this evening. I know you've got some commitments and you've also had a busy day, so we really appreciate you taking the time tonight and greeting our students and sharing some of those motivation words as they start unpacking and preparing for the examination. So thank you very much, Pandira, and over the platform to you.
Thank you, Dr. Chetsi. I hope I am audible. Thank you for the opportunity to present to our most prestigious stakeholders, being our students. I think this is a very important program that you have, because as you know, we struggle with student readiness to take online examinations. And I am glad that the topics that you have put together will be addressing some of the challenges I know students struggle with, particularly where to access my examination paper, which proctoring tool am I going to be using, and what do I need to utilize the proctoring tool that has been selected. I think the students that have attended, there are a difference between making that submission on time versus some of the students that may have missed because of the challenges that they would have experienced on the day. But I wish the colleagues that are presenting luck. I wish the students as well luck as they take on their May-June examination and become successful in their respective qualifications that they have registered for. Thank you for the opportunity, and I will be sitting in throughout the session. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very, very much, Ms. Kamalani, for those warm words. And I'm sure that the students are excited and also appreciate the fact that you've taken this opportunity to engage them, but also sitting through this session with us as well. So, colleagues and ladies and gentlemen, you really have that critical voice at UNISA joining you for the session. I see a lot of number ones that are coming in the session, so on the chat. So thank you. We know that you are with us and we are ready for a very engaged session tonight. So thank you very, very much. At this time, I also want to welcome all the colleagues that are working with us in the background. We have colleagues from the Academic Development Open Virtual Hub team. We have colleagues from the Student Retention Unit. We have colleagues from CPD, the Center for Professional Development. We also have colleagues from the Support Context Student Contact Center and various other departments, including the Invigilator app colleagues that have joined us tonight. So let's get full into the program. At this time, it's my pleasure to invite our presenter for us, Mr. David Upperstad, who will walk us through how to access the Open myExams portal, how to access your exams on this portal, and how to also access the MCQ exam and the take-home exam. So this is quite critical for you. You also, on the site, you will see the colleagues have posted up the link to the MOOC site. The MOOC is the open course site, and everything that we are discussing with you tonight and showcasing is on this course site. So all you need to do is click on that open course site and get to that site and get the content that you need for tonight and follow up with us. So thank you very much. Let me welcome David to the platform. David, thank you very much for taking the time to join us tonight. Let me hand over to you as you lead us into the next session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chetty. Afternoon, and also should say good evening, students, colleagues. Thank you for joining us today. All right, so the first thing we're going to jump right into is this very little URL at the bottom over here, as you guys can see on your screen, https://myexams2022. So please make sure you write this down, save it somewhere, because this is your life jacket. You're going to need it, and it's definitely going to help you with your studies and your exams for this term. So that's basically it. I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Richard, you must just unshare, please. All right, there we go. Fantastic. Thanks, Richard. Okay, cool. All right, so guys, that URL that you typed in, very, very importantly, it's going to bring you to our support site specifically for exams. So is this the first time you've joined us this year? Then this is basically how we're going to be helping you. If you had joined us for the myUNISA, the upgraded version earlier in this year, then you would fairly be comfortable the way we are presenting this to you. All right, so when you type in that little URL, it's going to bring up this web address. So don't be surprised if it looks different. It's absolutely a-okay. It's just a matter of tiny URL makes it a little bit easier to remember than compared to all this. But either way, it'll work. So make sure you've got that URL, and we will show it again to you guys. When you get to this page, please have a look. It's the welcoming page. This is our basic skills for online exams, so you know it's pretty important. And what's basically covered here is everything you need to know about the exams portal, how's it going to work, and how to get the information that you need to make sure that you're comfortable for your exams. I know the word proctoring app scares the daylights out of most people. After tonight, I'm sure you're going to feel a lot more comfortable, and then you'll at least have a good idea what to expect. And of course, as Dr. Chetty said, we've got the mock exam site, which you guys are going to definitely want to use to make sure that you are comfortable and that you know what's going on and how the whole exam process is going to work. And of course, we do have the toll-free number, which again is something good that you must have handy just in case you've got any issues. There you can see it as well on the page. So if you scroll down a little bit, the first thing we're going to look at, there's the schedules. So if you want to say or want to know or want to share, maybe with a fellow colleague or student, you might want to just say to them, okay, here's the schedule, you can click on it. And how it is, you'll see this little page will open. For example, tonight, well, 6th of May, that was last week, we had a session, and there's the QR code, so you can use your smartphone, you can actually open it, the event. Here's today's session, the 10th of May, 6 till 8 o'clock. Again, there's your QR code. And we're having another session, 12th of May at 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, so during the day. So again, there's the QR code that allows you to join the session, or you can simply just click there as well. So this is very, very useful. So now you can also come join us on our blast sessions. Okay, now blast session is very different from tonight. Blast session is where you guys, you'll see it'll be a normal Teams meeting. So you would be able then to ask us questions. All right, so unmute yourself, you ask us a question and we'll be able to help you. So blast sessions, there's a couple of them. There's 1, 2, and 3. So you can join either of those blast sessions. You don't all have to join number 1, for example. Any of the 3, and we'll have colleagues there to help you and answer your questions that you may have. So blast sessions are very, very critical when it comes to you wanting to know answers from us that you're maybe not finding or not seeing. So just take note of the schedule, and then we're going to run through the entire May. So just beginning of the exams and whatnot. So at least then you've got plenty of support from us over here. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is, now this is actually a course, guys, so we want you to start from the beginning and not just jump through and go to mock exams, for example. Please start in the beginning. It will help you familiarize yourself with everything that you need to know. I cannot stress that enough. So click on orientation, and you'll see the page opens like this, and you can do some reading, and you'll see lesson 1, 2, 3, all the way down to number 6. All right, great. It tells you how the course works, duration. And of course, we want you to do this pre-assessment. This is very, very important for us. You'll see there's a little link there. You're just going to click on it, and then the page is going to open. It'll take you two minutes or so to complete. Very, very straightforward. But it's very important data for us to understand where you're at and who you're at and where you're from and which level you're on and this type of information. It helps us then also do some planning in terms of what we can do going forward for this semester as well as the next semester. All right, so that's how your orientation will open. Then once you've done it, you can just click on the little X in the corner there, and then it'll take you back. Okay, so let's have a look at lesson 1. The first thing that we need to encounter is navigating to myExams portal. Okay, so that's quite important. So how this works is you're going to scroll down a little bit, and very well done. And then they tell you, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to open this, then you're going to find the portal, then you're going to select your college. So you can see it step by step by step, and that's why we don't want you to skip anything and just work through it nice and slowly. So then they say, all right, first step you're going to do is you're going to click on my UNISA. Once you've clicked on my UNISA, the page will look like this. I'm sure by now you guys all seen this one. And there you'll see my exam. So there it is. Great, then you're going to click on it. All right, then it's going to give you the dates. Now it only lists the dates, the 5 dates that are coming up. All right, so it doesn't go too far in the future, just for the next 5 days, including Saturdays and Sundays. So don't be surprised if there's no exams there. All right, so then you will go to your date of your exam. You can click on it, and then it's going to bring you up a nice list of all the modules for that date. Let me just go down a little bit. And there we go. So there's an example there. Then you would go and click on the exam itself. And then it's going to pop up. It's going to say to you, okay, now you need to log in. So you're going to type in your myUNISA student number and your myUNISA password. So just take note, it's not the MyLife email address there. Hey, it's just your student number, not your ID number or anything else, just your student number. You'll click on login, and then it's going to bring you to the dashboard. And in the dashboard, you'll see it doesn't say My Modules anymore. Now it's going to say My Exams. Great. The rest of it looks pretty much the same as myUNISA. So you're going to click on My Exams. Just to show you guys, there we go. It's going to give you a nice little drop down. Most likely it'll just be the one module. Okay, so you'll see the module code, you'll see the year, and then you'll see EX06, which means the first semester. So that's basically how the structure looks. And let's say that's our module. You'll click on it, and then it's going to say welcome. Okay, there's a welcome message, and you scroll a little bit down, and then you should see your exam sitting over here. Right, then what would you do? You're going to click on it. Then you're going to click on, well, it's going to tell you, okay, this is what the exam's about, the date, the time. Remember, this is just an example. And then it's also going to say something about webcam. Now, we're going to show you a few different ways of doing this, but just take note, the webcam is kind of important, and we're going to just highlight this a few times a little bit later in the session today as well, because the webcam is going to take some pictures of you during the exam, but we'll explain this as we go on. Then you click on Start Quiz. For example, this was a quiz, and then the exam begins. Now we are going to show you a little bit more detail about this. This page, remember guys, is just to show you the steps how to get there. So we're still going to show you a little bit more detail. Then right at the bottom of the page, we also have a video that you can go and watch as well. So if you don't like going through the steps like this, then you can go watch the video there and also go through it like that. It's on YouTube, so it's easily accessible to you guys. So this is, as you can see, this is how these little pages work, each little section. So it's very, very important that you work through it, understand it, and then be able to apply it in the module itself. Now, lesson 2, for example, proctoring tools. I'm going to come back to this one, so just take note of that. I'm going to skip it for now, and let's have a look at assessment 3. The different assessment types that you've got. Now, there are 2 basic types that you're going to find. Your MCQ, which is your quiz. Okay, we call it a quiz of the upgraded myUNISA, and your take-home assessment. Okay, so you'll see the symbol looks pretty much the same. So that's a little guy you'll be looking for. Now, multiple choice. All right, you're going to click on it. It looks something like this in terms of the page. All right, so it just explains a little bit more about multiple choice compared to take home. So it's just a different technique that we're going to use to test you, multiple choice questions, and then the take home is the one that you're going to type up and then submit. So we're going to show you this as well. So let's say now we want to understand multiple choice first. As I said, you're going to click on this page. It's going to open up. Right, for example, we're using the same example as we did before. So you would click on the button. It's going to bring you to the page over here. And that where it gives you the explanation about the web camera, then make sure it's on. So what you would then do is you're going to click on the quiz. And then what will happen is it's going to pop up this little page like this. So your camera now is going to be on. So you're going to be seeing yourself there. But you do need to tick this little box over here. OK, that's very important. Otherwise, you can't continue. But also just make sure you read this little paragraph over here. It's very, very important. So in other words, guys, you cannot fiddle around with your camera. You can't point it to the ceiling, for example. You can't blur it out or cover it up, because all of that would be seen as exam dishonesty. OK, so you need to leave your camera on and it needs to be looking at you. OK, so unfortunately, that's how it's going to rock and roll in terms of this app over here that we're looking at. Multiple choice quiz. Then it also will indicate the time. All right, and then you'll click on start. Once you clicked on start, your exam is going to begin. Here's an example. You'll see the questions are here. You're going to find there's a little navigation on the right top corner that allows you to jump between the questions as well. All right, but then you'll see your webcam there will be having a picture of you and seeing what you're up to. All right, so then you click on next. Okay, so you answer the question, you click on next, and then you work through all the different questions until it gets to the point saying finished attempt. All right, so once you click on finished, then what's going to happen is it's going to give you a confirmation, submit it all and finished. Yep, you're going to click on it, you must click on it, and then it will give you a confirmation that you've completed. Now for your own sake, maybe it's a good idea, maybe use Snip Tool or grab a screen grab app and just take a picture of this and keep it for your own records as well. Okay, so just have peace of mind, but definitely if you see this, it should be definitely gone through. And just as I said before, at the bottom of the page, again, we've got a YouTube video which will explain everything to you. Now, before you start thinking, wait, but it's not really practical, David, and then I'm going to say to you, don't worry. Richard is going to show you the mock exam as well and how that is going to work and where you guys are going to be able to do this practically. So don't worry if you're thinking, wow, I need to do this practically, you're going to get that opportunity. All right, so for now, we just want to show you where the resource is, where the step-by-step guide is, so that you've got that evidence and that information, sorry. So just to make your lives a little bit easier. Right, for the home exams, the home exams, pretty much going to look the same. So if you've done your written exams on myUnisa, it's actually the same thing. It's just the difference now, it's an exam. Again, you're going to have a question paper. Okay, so you'll click on the exam, it'll give you this sort of welcoming, it'll give you an exam paper that you'll click on and you'll download. All right, and then it also tells you, just take note of this, very important. So if it says it only needs to be PDF, make sure you know how to save a Word document as a PDF document. Okay, all right, and then you'll see a page like this will open. And so that's after you're done, you've typed up all your answers, you're very happy. Then you click on add submission. So it's in the same place where you downloaded. You're going to find this, you say add submission. But then you must just take note of a few things. Your file size. Now that's very important. In other words, when you get to this upload screen, just like in your assignments, you're going to notice this little guy on the right, and it says to you, this is the maximum size, very important. And then how many files can you submit? Extremely important. So if you only got, let's say you've typed your answer for whatever reason, and you've got 3 different documents, and you've saved it all as a PDF, what are you going to do now? Okay, it's not a big train smash. You can go to this little website, ilovepdf.com. You must make sure you write this down, ilovepdf.com. Inside here, you're going to see how to merge your PDF documents. All right, so there's an option there, how to compress it. If you've already got a PDF and you just got to make it a little bit smaller, there's also an option over there as well. So this is free, so you guys can use it, and it's quite quick to do. So I do suggest go and practice this thing as well, just to take 2 PDFs and merge them together and see how it looks. Or take a PDF that's got lots of images in, take pictures of your dog, your cat in high definition, because then you know the file size will be quite big, and then just try and compress it and see what the effect thereof is. So that can definitely help you. So I Love PDF is definitely a resource that you guys could use. All right, so that's something very important. Then, of course, right on top here, you have to tick this just to say this is your own work. Okay, so yep, you have to do that. You don't have a choice. And then you're going to click on the file and you can then go and upload, very similar to what you've done with your assignments. But then it also gives you the different types of documents that you can upload. Now, this is very, very critical. Hey, for example, doc, all right, your .doc files. It's an old version of Word. 2007 .x, you know, so this type of thing is very important. I think .x is 365 now. So check the file type that you're allowed to use. So just make sure of that as well. So when you're saving, but ideally try to use PDF because that is probably the easiest, best one to upload, but it must be in this little list over here. Okay, we'll give you that sample. You're going to upload, you're going to click on Save Changes. And then what will happen is it's going to say to you, great, there we go. Submitted for grading. All right, so that's very important. So make sure wherever you see the option of submitting, make sure that you've clicked it. Again, take a screenshot of this because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you don't have evidence. So just keep it for your own records. Now, what will happen is before you submit, you've got an opportunity to edit. All right, so when on this little page, you'll just see it at the bottom. You've got edit submission and also remove your submission for whatever reason you want to do that. So you've still got opportunity. Let's say you uploaded the wrong file. You still got opportunity to quickly go and edit that submission and then redo this process over here again. Okay, so just make sure you're uploading the correct file, please. Don't put yourself under undue stress on that one. And of course, as I said before, we've always got the little videos at the bottom of each lesson, just to go through it again to make sure that you're covering all your bases. All right, so that's how this works. Now, my colleagues are going to talk about the other elements as well, but just to show you guys what else is on here. So Richard's going to handle the mock exams. Just for importance sake, students, the webinar recordings, what's going to happen is from today onwards, we're going to record, and on this page, we're going to put the recordings here as well. So just take note of that. Okay, so that's where you'll find today's recording, because I know lots of students like to ask where will we find the recording, and there it is over there. We also have downloadable guides, which are critical. All right, if I click on it, you'll see it's got the little folder icon, so you can click on it. So this is for students, guys, that don't want to be online all the time. You maybe just want to download and review offline. There we go. So you can simply just click on these and they can download, or you can just download the whole folder, which makes life a little bit easier. So just take note of everything there is also in downloadable format. All right, and then frequently asked questions. Yes, we've also got this here for you guys. You can just go through, for example, the contact lists, all this type of information that you might come across that you might want to know. Yes, the Invigilator app, the colleagues will be talking about that a little bit later in the session. So yeah, this is one of the ways to get some help on FAQs. Then of course we've got the support contact information. This is also very important for UNISA. There's the 0800 number. Also, when you send emails to the university, guys, 100 million%, please use MyLife. So make sure your MyLife email account is working, guys. Make sure you can access it and that you can email. Very, very important. All right, and that's where the exam email address is, and my module 22, if you're having any problems there. All right, and if you scroll all the way down, you'll also find the Invigilator app support team as well. So that's also very important, but this is only for WhatsApp, guys. So don't phone this number. It's only a WhatsApp number. And then you can actually use it and then contact them if you've got any technical problems or any issues at all with the Invigilator app side of things. Okay, so that's quite important to remember. So as I'm saying, guys, this is very, very important. You need to be able to get to this website, all right, this resource, this MOOC, because it's definitely the first place you need to go to. And just to make sure that everybody did write it down, I'm just going to put it on my screen a little bit bigger again. So please make sure you write this down, save it somewhere safe in your diary would be great. https://tinyurl.com/myexams2022. So this is very important, and of course you can use your cell phone. If you just do a quick QR scan there, it'll take you directly to the resource as well. So we've also put that in there for you. So as I'm saying, guys, this is very, very important. This is your starting point, and hopefully tonight after this session, it's the first place you're going to go, just to help yourselves get more comfortable and not to have so much stress with the exams itself. Okay, so that's for me for now. Let me just quickly check I've covered everything. Yes, brilliant. Okay, thanks, Denzel. Back over to you.
Thank you very, very much, David, for those key insights into how the system actually works and how the students can actually get hold of some of those critical spaces with information that is needed. Ladies and gentlemen, remember the link to the site that David has spoken is on the chat. So if you get onto the Q&A session, you'll find the link to the chat. So we've now covered accessing the Open myExams support, accessing your exams from myExams and the take-home exams. We're now going to move into the next section on academic integrity. I'm going to ask Ingrid to join us at this time.
Hi, Denzel.
Hi, Ingrid.
Hi, students.
Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you for joining us. I think Richard is going to queue you up now at any minute now. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Richard, and thanks, Ingrid. Here we go. Welcome, Ingrid.
Welcome. Thank you for having me here today. So today I'm here to talk about academic integrity in online assessments. At university, behaving with academic integrity is founded in certain personal values. If you value honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and courage, then you have the foundations of which to behave with academic integrity. And this is important for not only for yourself and your own development, but also if you think about your future as a scholar, or importantly, your thinking about, thinking about your future employment. Practicing honesty means not only being honest with others, but with yourself. Those who are honest will promote the value of trust by preparing work that is thoughtful and original. Showcase your academic integrity by being fair. Acknowledge the work of others by appropriately referencing and remembering that your actions can have an impact on your fellow students. In being fair, you need to show respect for yourself and for others. Respect for self means tackling challenges without compromising your own values. Respect for others means valuing the diversity of opinions and their needs and goals. Take responsibility in your university life by standing up against wrongdoing, resisting negative peer pressure, and serving as a positive example, which means you will need to have courage to follow through, holding yourself and others accountable. So what happens if a fellow student acts in a dishonest manner? At an individual level, students that act in a dishonest way in their studies also act dishonestly in their workplace. So, if you are caught cheating at university, it could have serious consequences, not only for yourself, but for others as well, students, past, present, and future. What might seem a small action can have a domino effect. Students that cheat give the university that they come from and the qualifications that they come away with a bad reputation. Employers may choose not to hire graduates from that university. Quality assurance bodies, such as the Council of Higher Education in South Africa, and professional bodies, such as the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, may decide that degrees from that university are not of an acceptable quality and decide to de-accredit their degree. The results: even students that do not cheat during their studies are in danger of having their degrees devalued because the university as a whole is devalued. Oops. Now, this is all well and good, but I still haven't given you some examples of academic dishonesty so that you can take action to protect your degree. There may be some form it can take. Let's start with contract cheating or ghostwriting. Some dishonest people are going to attempt to sell you the answers for exams. This is called contract cheating or ghostwriting. These people or services will get the exam paper through illegal means and dishonest people. They attempt to work out the answers and then offer to sell these answers to you. These people may even give students tips to try and fool their lecturers, such as changing the order of answers or making deliberate mistakes. But what also happens is sellers will give the same answer script to more than one student. The result? There are always a few students who don't make any changes, and from these, the rest are found out. If you encounter the situation, report it to your lecturer or even anonymously to the whistleblower hotline. Linked to contract cheating is the act of buying or selling of an assessment. For ghostwriters to come up with the answers to exam papers, they first need to get access to these papers. It is a serious offence to buy or sell a question paper, and the university will take serious action against any person accused of this. Another form of contract cheating is to ask or pay another person to write an exam on your behalf in real time. The person will attempt to present themselves online with your credentials. However, with UNISA's use of IRIS, the Invigilator app, and Moodle proctoring software, we can determine if multiple assessments are being written from one location and even by the same person through webcam photos. Students often form study groups that are a wonderful source of both study and emotional support. However, some form groups where they help each other cheat, even without meaning to. Sitting together and working together as a group to answer questions is not allowed during the exams. The best way to avoid sharing answers is to make very clear rules amongst your study group. Act with trust and honesty, even when your lecturer can't see you. Plagiarism is when you use someone else's ideas without acknowledging them. This includes any source of information that you use in your exam answers. Words, images, music, videos. It doesn't come from your own head. It must be cited and referenced. Get into the habit of even referencing your textbook. All sources must be acknowledged at the end of your work as a list of sources consulted or bibliography, and in your text as in-text citation. I encourage you to register on UNISA's MOOC, where we have courses that instruct you on how to avoid plagiarism and how to reference all sorts of different content. You can create an account in the following URL, which we'll post in the chat later. Our last example refers to the upload hour at UNISA. The hour is not part of your writing time. When your writing time is finished, you need to stop and either save and upload your file as a PDF or scan a handwritten answer into a PDF and then submit. Make sure the PDFs are accessible, it has no restrictions on it and it's not corrupted. You can test this before exams by saving a Word document as a PDF and sending it to a friend to see if they can open it. The upload time is used by the university to help resolve any upload issues. If you choose to ignore this rule and continue to write, only to experience a real issue in the dying minutes, be aware that the university will not, under any circumstances, accept your script outside of the upload time. So what happens when you are found to have cheated? In online examinations, lecturers will normally be the first people to identify when a student is not acting with academic integrity. They will be alerted through special plagiarism detection software like Turnitin, or through proctoring software like the Invigilator app. These cases are reviewed by the lecturers to determine if there truly is a transgression of academic integrity occurring. So what happens if they do find that some form of academic dishonesty has occurred? A first-year student writing in an assignment, for example, is not aware of plagiarism and how to avoid it, so they might only receive a written warning. However, being dishonest in an examination is considered a severe transgression, and the university response is much more serious. The lecturer will mark the script, flag it as suspected plagiarism or cheating, and report the matter to the examination office. Students' exam results on myUNISA will change to results withheld pending the disciplinary hearing. This will remain the result status until the case is resolved. Students will be issued with a warning letter, which will inform them of the identified contraventions of the student disciplinary code. When the lecturer reports the case, they put together an evidence file. This is everything that shows why we think that you acted in a dishonest manner. It could include, for example, audio recordings or geolocations of students writing together in groups, or the sources of where you plagiarized from, or the webcam photos that shows you not being you. Or if you didn't use the Invigilator app or Moodle proctoring or the IRIS tool as you should have, because that also transgresses UNISA's examinations rule. Students will then receive the evidence from the examinations office and will be given a chance to respond to the allegations. Students will be required to respond within 5 working days from the day of communication from the DSAA. The student's response will then be forwarded to the disciplinary office for further action. If the student decides not to contest the charge, the matter is then closed as long as they are not found guilty of the same charge within a specified period of time. The student will be required to re-register as a re-register for your module as a first-time offender. If no response is received from the student within the specified time, the disciplinary office will the assignment section will inform the disciplinary office to commence with further action. If the student decides to dispute the allegation or where the alleged misconduct is considered as severe, the disciplinary office will investigate and gather additional information. Other academics will review the evidence and decide if there is a reason to instigate official disciplinary action. If not, your mark will be released. If a clear violation is found, you will be required to present themselves at a disciplinary hearing. In this hearing, a committee made of academics from all colleges hears all of the evidence and decides on probability of the evidence whether the student is guilty of having transgressed the student disciplinary code. The student has certain rights during this process, including being represented by a member of the student representative council and another student. The student will have the opportunity to see the evidence of misconduct and present their own evidence. The committee, having looked at all the evidence, then decide on whether the student is likely guilty, and if they are guilty, what sanction they will receive. So, for example, being suspended for 5 years from the university if it's a very serious offence. After having considered the university, you can also appeal this decision, should it be necessary. So what are the consequences? If you are found guilty, you will fail the module and you will have to re-register, and you cannot write a supplementary exam. You will receive a written warning. This written warning can include a possible suspension from the university if you are found guilty of another offence during the same time. Written warnings will appear on your certificate of conduct that is part of your academic record. And in other words, if you have to send a possible employer or another university your academic record, they will also be informed of your unethical behaviour. So you might not be able to get employment as easily. For very serious offences, the university might decide to cancel all of the credits that you have accumulated for your degree, or if you have been awarded a degree, they might revoke your degree. Some degrees are linked to professional councils, and these professional councils have their own ethics code to, if you are found guilty of offences at the university, they might not register you with the council, or if your degree is revoked, they might remove you from the professional council itself. In some cases, the university might work with the South African Police Service to institute criminal charges against you. If found guilty by a court, you might have a criminal record as well as land in jail. So what must you do? Well, plan your time. Make sure that you have enough time to write your exams and study. Practice the skills. Study something that you love at university, because then it's maybe not as much of a pain as it would otherwise be. Act ethically at all times and ask for help when you are struggling. And finally, it can be hard, but courageousness is a huge part of academic integrity. Students that act dishonestly put all your hard work, along with the work on and qualifications of all past and future students, at risk. As more and more of you choose the values of academic integrity, your qualifications are protected and you become a key player in securing your future work prospects. If you would like to report any instances of academic dishonesty, you can report it to the lecturer or the whistleblower hotline that's displayed on the screen. Thank you very much and good luck with your exams.
Thank you very, very much, Ingrid, for unpacking that so nicely. Ladies and gentlemen, that was not to scare you. That was to tell you about the processes at UNISA, as well as what you should not be doing. Now, Ingrid unpacked that quite nicely for us because it actually shows you where all the pitfalls are and the challenges that you can encounter in the system, especially what are the consequences of if you are caught cheating. Now, this is very important because throughout the year and through running several exam sessions, we have picked up these issues. So we want to flag these issues right at the beginning so that you are well aware of what we would be looking for as an institution and what you should not be doing as part of your exam process. Now that you know what academic integrity is, we now move on to the next part. Now, I see there are many questions in the chat on what are the proctoring tools, how do I use the proctoring tools. I see there are some questions on please provide more information on the proctoring tools, and that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, remember UNISA is using 3 proctoring tools, right? So you'll find these 3 proctoring tools mentioned in either in your study guide, in your exam tutorial information, or online. So we use the Moodle webcam, we use the Invigilator app, and IRIS. Now, IRIS is used specifically for the College of Science, Engineering and Technology students. We do not cover that here, but the College of Science, Engineering and Technology have a separate session of a set of workshops that they will use to familiarize specifically the students in the College of Science, Engineering and Technology. For today's session, we want to cover 2 proctoring tools. So we're going to cover the first one, which is the Moodle webcam, and then the second one, which is the Invigilator app. To unpack the Moodle webcam, I'm going to invite my colleague David back to the floor, and he's going to unpack this for us. Thank you very much, David.
Thanks, Dr. Chetty. All right, let me share my screen quickly. Okay, there we go. All right, so now, as I said before, we skipped session number 2. Let me go back here. All right, the proctoring tools. So now we're going to go have a look at it, as I promised you guys. So you're going to click on lesson 2. All right, it's going to go down. It's going to talk about 3 different options that are available to UNISA that we implemented. Okay, so don't panic. We've got the help. We've got the support over here. And of course, the colleagues are going to speak about the Invigilator app after me. Okay, so the first one is what you need to do is, and you might have seen an announcement on myUNISA already about on this. If you haven't done it, please make sure you do it as soon as possible. You need to upload your profile picture. All right, so on this page under lesson 2, you'll see there's an option here saying upload. Okay, so how do we do this? It's actually very easy. It might not have worked previously if you had tried this last week, but they have now enabled the tool. So please go again and make sure that you upload your picture. So you're going to log into your myUNISA page, your normal place where you normally go. You go to My Modules 2022. On the top right-hand corner, you should see your name. Okay, and then you'll see just below it, if you click on the little arrow, your profile. So you click on it. And then you'll see your information, like your MyLife email address will be there. And then you're going to click on Edit Profile. And once you clicked on Edit Profile, it's going to pop up this little guy here at the bottom of the screen, and it will say, okay, please upload a picture. So then you can go browse to your device and then upload the picture there. Okay, so for example, it will say to you, okay, where's the file? You'll click on Choose File. You'll find the file. You can save as, basically just renames it. So if it was a different sort of numbering, depending on the device that you use to take the picture, you can maybe just rename it to My Picture or something like that if you want to. That's under the Save As block. Then you can click on Upload. So make sure you get a nice clear picture of yourself, that it's very visible, easily to see that it's you, not too far away, obviously, not too close as well, because I mean, it must be fairly clear, like the example they're giving you over here. So once you've seen that there, then you're just going to click on Update Profile. And then on the top right-hand corner, you should see now your picture appearing there as well. So this is very important because the webcam app that's within the myExams platform is going to require you to have this picture. Okay? So it's very, very important. So please make sure you do it as soon as possible. Okay, so again, the steps are given to you in very nice detail. So that's very important. I see a lot of students are now asking, how do I know which of my modules do I need to use, which app, Proctoring app? Cool. So what you can do is on this little guy over here, you're going to click on it. It's going to open a search box. So what you can do then is you can type in your module code. Okay, what I did is I just typed in 1501, just taking a guess, and you can see all the modules here, they're popping up. Okay, so it's going to search, try to find what you're looking for. But if you type in your full module code, you'll definitely find it in this list. And then on the right hand side, you'll actually shows you exactly what you can expect. So for example, PVL 1501, it's going to be multiple choice, and it's going to use the webcam that is within the myExams platform. So Richard is going to show you guys in a few minutes exactly how this works practically, and which you guys are hopefully going to also do practically as well to prepare yourselves. Then the take home, that's your assignment-based assignment or assessment. It's going to use the Invigilator app. So the colleagues from Invigilator app are going to actually show you guys how this works. And just remember that WhatsApp number that I did show you earlier. Hey, they're also going to show you that. They also have a demo that you can use with the Invigilating app, which definitely you must do it, and you can do it as many times as you possibly want. Make sure you use that demo because it will show you exactly how the app works, all the things that you need to do, and the colleagues will explain that to you. So just take note of that. All right, so then this basically can tell you what modules you're doing and what to expect. So hopefully that answers all the questions people are asking, because I see many of you guys are doing that. How do I know which exam or which proctoring tool do I need to have or use or be comfortable with when I get to do my exam? So just take note, there it is, there's the page as well. So make sure you go and do this today even, and make sure you can and know exactly what to expect. Then the next little guy here is the web proctoring apps. Now this is the one that we're going to use. This is new. Okay, so last year if you were with UNISA, we didn't have this one. So this year we do have something that's within our myExams portal. So what you'll do is you'll go to your module like you would have done before, where you see your exam paper. Okay, you click on it, and then it's going to say to you, all right, you need to have your webcam open, and it's going to take some pictures randomly for you during the quiz. In this example, it's 30 minutes. So you'll click on Start Quiz Now. And then once you do that, you're going to see this little guy is going to pop up here. This is very important because it tells you that the site wants to access your camera. So you kind of need to say allow. Okay. If you say block, that means you're going to need to unblock it. In the browser, it will actually give you a little icon. I think Richard will show you that as well, just to show you where it is, that you can unblock it if you accidentally click on block. But just take note, if you have to block it or you had blocked it and you unblock it, you need to refresh the page. Otherwise, your camera won't switch on. So once you refresh, then it will be back to normal. And then you'll see your camera light will go on, indicating that it's looking at you. Right, then you'll see they'll have the exam question itself, okay, the date, the time, how much time you've got to do the exam, and the grading method, for example. You'll click on Start Quiz Now, and what will happen is, there we go, but that will be you, it'll be a live picture of you. So ladies, if you want to put the makeup on, go for it, because it's definitely going to be looking at you, but don't put too much makeup, hey? Remember, your picture needs to be fairly similar to the one you took earlier on your profile. Again, just to remind you guys, make sure you read this very carefully, okay? So no fiddling with the camera, no putting things over it, no pointing to the screen or the roof, okay? Because that will be classified as dishonesty. So make sure your camera's facing you. And then you have to tick this little guy over here, and then you can start your attempt. All right, and then you go down, you'll see you've got your quiz navigation again. It will have the picture of you on the bottom right hand side. So you'll see just below where your questions are, you should see your camera then there as well. Okay, and of course, yes, we have made a video of you, and there you can see our colleague Ingrid there. So she's in the video itself. So you guys can also go through that as another option just to make sure that you're 100% comfortable with this element as well. All right. Right, then the Invigilator app, guys, I'm just going to show you, this is the page that we've got available, but the colleagues are going to speak to you directly after me. So, and then you can just also go through all the information that's in here as well. You can also check your module there if you really wanted to, but importantly, you need to download it and whatnot. And there's a demo, as I said before. So the colleagues will be talking to you in detail about this as well, but there you've got your information. And as Dr. Chetty said, Iris, okay, that's only ready for your CSET students, College of Science, Engineering and Technology. These are the guys, and they will have their own workshops a little bit later on. But of course, you've got information here. If you are one of those students, then there are resources here that you can go through and have a look and see how Iris works as well. All right, so that one is also then covered. So just take note. So module 2, quite important. That's why we came back to it. That's why I skipped it in the beginning, because a lot of what you're probably going to be frightened of is sitting right over here. But once you get through it, guys, you'll actually see, hey, it's not that bad actually. Then, of course, as I just said in the beginning, under orientation, there was a pre-assessment survey. Under conclusion, please make sure you do the post-assessment or post-course assessment survey for us so that we can understand how did you feel, what valuable information could you give to us to make this even better for the next semester that comes up later in the year. So that's also quite important. All right, so as I said, students, this is the most important thing that you're getting from today is to get access. I'm just going to put it up one more time. Hope, guys, you don't mind. tinyurl.com/myexams2022. Make sure you use this resource. It's there for you. It'll definitely 100% help you during your exams. And of course, there is a QR code, so you can also go scan that as well. All right, that's it from my side. Back to you, Denzel.
Thank you very, very much, David. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard from David on the Moodle proctoring tool. And remember that what he mentioned was about the profile photo, which is very important. Now, as much as we like to see photos of your cats and your owls and your holidays, please remember this is a profile photo of you. Think of it as an ID photo so that we can actually verify who you are when we are using some of these proctoring apps, for example, the Moodle proctoring app. So that's very important on that point. Now let's look at the next app. The next app is the Invigilator app. And to unpack what the Invigilator app is, we have two experts with us who are actually at the forefront of creating this app itself. So we have Nicholas Raymer with us and Jury Vessels. Thank you very, very much for joining us today and sharing with our students the Invigilator app, Jury and Nick. We really appreciate your taking the time off. Nick, let me hand over the platform to you, Nick, as you walk us through this. Thanks, Nick.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. Nice to be with you this evening. As Denzel mentioned, my name is Nick Riemer, and I'm going to be joined by my colleague Yuri Vessels, and we're going to be taking you through the Invigilator application this evening and what exactly you can expect from the application in your upcoming examinations. If we look at the Invigilator application, so I think very importantly that there's absolutely no risk or no reason to be concerned about utilizing an application like the Invigilator. It's been built specifically with you in mind. So the solution has actually been created right here in South Africa with you as a South African student in mind, and it's been built by a team who has more than 30 years of academic experience. So it really has been created specifically for you in order for you to write your exams and assessments in the comfort of your own home while we maintain the academic integrity of all of those tests and exams that are being written. I think very importantly to note is that all you are going to need in terms of utilizing this application is an entry-level smartphone. So you'll be able to download the application from any one of the app stores, be it Apple, be it Google Play, or be it Huawei App Gallery, depending on the device that you have. And any entry-level smartphone will allow you to download and use the Invigilator application for your upcoming assessment. So all the information has been provided to you as well in all of the different student guides, which Yuri is going to take you through shortly. But in terms of what exactly the application is going to ask you to do is what I'm going to cover before handing over to Yuri. So moving on to the next slide, what exactly can you expect from the Invigilator application? after you have downloaded it. So obviously first step is to go into any one of the app stores, type in the Invigilator and download the application. Once you've downloaded the application is going to ask you to register on the app for the first time. And this is where you're going to capture a master file photo of yourself. So very similar to what David mentioned with regards to the webcam process. All it's going to do is it's going to ask you to capture a master file photo of yourself when you first register on the application. And then going forward, while you write your papers, the application is going to ask you to take a photo of yourself once or twice while writing your paper. We're all familiar with taking selfies, and that's exactly what the application is going to ask you to do. And all that's going to do is just compare it back to the master file photo to make sure that the correct person is writing the paper. The application is also going to have voice recording. So if for whatever reason there is speaking happening while you're writing your paper, the application is going to detect this and then bring this to the attention of your lecturer. So all the application is doing is just making sure that while you're writing your paper, you are doing so under the same exam conditions that you would have abided to should you have been writing in a venue or on campus as in the past. There's also going to be customized instructions on the application. So just like your physical invigilator when you used to write on campus or at school would walk around and make sure that the correct person was sitting in the seat, also the Invigilator application is going to do the exact same thing. So please just make sure that you have some sort of proof of identification document close by, because you might need to take a photo of your driver's license, of a student card, for example, or something that just proves your identity, just like you would have presented if you were sitting in a venue. Moving on to the next slide with regards to what else you can finally expect from the application. We also have a built-in browser. So for those students that are concerned that they were going to use their phones, for example, to view their question papers or to conduct any type of exam-related activities on your actual phone, you can still access myUNISA through the Invigilator application. So myUNISA has been included within the Invigilator application. So all you will do once you are logged into the Invigilator is click the Access LMS button, and you will be able to access myUNISA directly through the Invigilator application. So those students that were planning to utilize their phones to conduct the exam can still do so in the exact same manner. You do not need to go and get multiple devices in order to complete your upcoming assessments. The script upload, so for those papers that are being handwritten, you're handwriting your answers on an exam pad, the Invigilator application is going to give you time at the end of your assessment to upload each page of your script into the Invigilator dashboard. So all it's going to do once you have finished, your time has counted down, the camera is going to open and it's going to instruct you to take a picture of each page of your script. This will happen automatically and you will capture this. Please remember that you still need to then upload your script into myUNISA after doing this. The reason that we ask you to please take a photo of the script within the Invigilator is for invigilation purposes, for a backup copy, and to make sure that no extra writing or sharing of answers is taking place into the additional upload time that you have before uploading your scripts into myUNISA. So you're going to upload your scripts into the Invigilator application, and then please remember you're still going to then have to upload your scripts into myUNISA at the conclusion of the invigilation session. Lastly, and very importantly, just like when you're invigilated in a venue, the application is also going to track if you close the app for whatever reason. If you answer your phone, if you jump onto WhatsApp, if you jump onto Google, it is going to flag that you have left the application. So very important while you are using the Invigilator application is to make sure you stay in the app. Don't leave the app for any reason. The only time that you should ever leave the Invigilator app is to contact our help desk, which Yuri will take you through now. But just once you scan your QR code to start the invigilation process, do not leave the application, leave the phone next to you, write your paper, follow the instructions, and everything will be 100%. I'm now going to hand over to my colleague Yuri, who's going to take you through some of the other finer details of using the Invigilator application for your upcoming assessments now. Thank you so much. Thanks, Yuri.
Thank you very much, Nick. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to just spend a little bit of time with you to ensure that you are 100% prepared for using the Invigilator for your upcoming assessment. Like Nick has said, it's extremely easy to use the application, and the best thing for you to do is to ensure that you are prepared for using it the first time. It's very easy to use, but we still do not recommend that you leave this for the last minute. So at least 3 to 4 days before your exam, please ensure that you have downloaded the application and that you've worked through the content that we've made available. I am also going to just refer to this very important UNISA exam site with a lot of important information. So if I go to the proctoring tools that David has explained to you earlier, and I go straight into the Invigilator app, you will see that most of the information that you need for using the Invigilator application can be located on this page. I'm going to run you through a few very important matters on this page, and I'm going to start off by firstly, once again, just helping students to understand whether they have to use the Invigilator application at all. So you will remember that David has shown you how you can check which module uses which proctoring software tool. We've also built our own one. So if you click on the link in there, you will see it'll take you to a page where you can also put in your exam code and where you can search. And based on that, it's going to tell you whether the specific module code that you've entered is supposed to use the Invigilator application or not. So that is quite important for you just to take note of, that you can check it, and you'll see there's a link straight on this page. You just enter your module code and it will tell you whether you've got to use the Invigilator application or not. Ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, I think it is a good rule of thumb to assume that all take-home assessments will be using the Invigilator application. So as far as I know, most of the take-home assessments will be using the Invigilator application, whereas the MCQ papers will be using the Moodle quiz proctoring tool or the webcam tool. And then obviously the CSET faculty students will be using IRIS. But you've got multiple places where you can check which proctoring tool will be used by which module. Like Nick has also alluded to, you can go and download the application either from the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, or the Huawei App Gallery. So it is available on all three the app stores. And as Nick has also said, it works on any smartphone device that has got access to one of these three app stores. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you will see embedded in here is a 7-minute training video that is quite important for you to watch. So we definitely recommend that you guys just spend the 7 minutes to watch the short video. It'll take you through exactly what is going to be expected of you, how the application works, and how you're going to go about using it. You will also see that if I just have a look below that, there's another embedded link, and this link will open up the Invigilator Student User Guide. Now, many of your lecturers will also share this with you. So this is our detailed student user guide that will assist students through every step of using the Invigilator application. I'm not going to go through this document in detail, but you will see if I just scroll through the table of contents here, it will show you exactly what you need to do. So if you need help with a specific section or component of the application, you can just have a look here. You will also see, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm going to specifically refer you to page 5. Now, once again, that is the video guidance. So that's the same training video that we have embedded here in the actual myExams site. So it's the same video. So whether you watch it here or whether you locate it through means of our student user guide, doesn't matter, as long as you spend the 7 minutes to watch this video to prepare for using the Invigilator application. Ladies and gentlemen, then I just want to also highlight on page 6 of this document, it has also been mentioned today, is that the Invigilator has a technical help desk available to assist you with any questions or queries that you might have. And you're welcome to reach out to them via WhatsApp on this number. So if you missed the number earlier on, it can be located in the student user guide, and it is also placed on the main myExams Invigilator app page. Right at the bottom, it also tells you where you can access the student where you can access our technical help desk. So this will then greatly assist you if you need any advice or help during either the registration or sign-up process or during an actual assessment. Ladies and gentlemen, then just on the student user guide, there's also a section on the in-app browser. So a question that we get very often is, what do I do if I only have one device? I only have a smartphone and I have to attempt my assessment or my exam, and I also have to be invigilated with this one device. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not a problem at all. We have a built-in browser in the Invigilator application. So you will launch the invigilation on the app, And as soon as you've launched your actual assessment or the invigilation of your assessment, you will see that there's a button for you to press that will open up a browser. It will automatically take you straight to the myExams page, and you can locate your exam for the day. However, if you are uncertain about how this will work, once again, there's another training link on page 7 of the student user guide, another very short video that'll just take you through how the in-app browser works. Ladies and gentlemen, lastly, but very importantly, is our demo test that you can find on page 8 of the student user guide. Ladies and gentlemen, it is so important that you do this demo test at least once before your first exam. It is just going to show you exactly what to expect. It is an 8-minute assessment, so it will take you 8 minutes just to go through the motions to see what the app will do. The application will definitely not disturb you. It's going to ask you during the entire duration of your exam to take 3 to maximum 4 photos, so it's really not going to disturb you. You can put your phone down next to you. But ladies and gentlemen, this demo test is really the best possible way to prepare and to ensure that you are familiar with what the application is going to do. I think it is safe to say that none of us want to have extra stresses and extra anxiety and pressure on the day of the exam, so please prepare. The biggest mistake you can make is to leave all of this for 5 minutes before your exam starts, and then you're trying to download the app to register and get yourself ready. So give yourself ample time. Do this at least 3 to 4 days before your first exam to make sure that you are completely prepared for using the Invigilator application. Ladies and gentlemen, so this is the student user guide. As I said, quite important, your lecturers will most probably distribute it to you, but you can also find it on this Invigilator app proctoring 2 page on this awesome site that UNISA has created for you guys, and that you can then also find quite a lot of information on the Invigilator application. Ladies and gentlemen, that is me in a nutshell. One last thing I just want to mention is when you register on the Invigilator application for the first time, please remember that you have to use your MyLife student email address when you register. It is very important. You will not be able to register with any other email address than your MyLife student email address, and please ensure that you do get your student number correct as well. So that's very important when you register for the Invigilator application for the very first time. Then if you've used the Invigilator application before, also quite an important step is just to ensure that you update your app to the latest version on the App Store. So when you go to your phone, to your specific app store, you can check for app updates and you can update it there. If you don't know how to update an app, you can also just delete it and reinstall the application, and then the latest version of the application will install. But it's very important that you ensure that you are on the latest version of the application, especially for students that have last used the application last year in October or November. A number of improvements have been made to the application, and you have to ensure that you are on the latest version of the app. Dr. Chetty, thank you so much. That is all from my side, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Jury and Nick, for unpacking that so nicely for us. I think there are many questions that you've already answered that have come through on the chat. You've really clearly articulated this. What exactly is the Invigilator app, how to use it, how we are using it at UNISA, and more specifically that specific demo video and trying out this app. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't stress more that how important it is for you to actually do the demo test. It only takes you about 8 minutes, and Jury is on point. We actually tested it ourselves as part of our training sessions as well. So please do the demo test, as Nick and Jury have highlighted, so articulated so easily and clearly for us tonight in terms of what we need to do. But now, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't stop there. We know that proctoring tools can be very challenging for you, and it seems to be the main topic for tonight, in addition to what is my profile photo. And as I said earlier, we're going to launch the mock exam site. We've actually just created it today, and we're going to take this opportunity to launch the mock exam site where you can actually get in and test the tools and the platform, the take-home exam and the MCQ for yourself. And to do this, I'm going to invite my colleague Richard Wright to actually demo this and showcase us this a bit. Richard, thank you very much, Richard, and I hand over the platform to you. Richard. Sorry, I think you mute, Richard.
Okay, good evening, everybody. So I'm going to introduce to you how to access the mock exams, how to get started with the mock exams. So you'll notice the mock exams are actually after the conclusion, and this is for a good reason, because you have to have gone through all the material before you attempt a mock exam. When you get to the mock exam, we expect you already have the apps installed, you know what it is. This is now really for you just to have that practical experience of actually doing an assessment as you would do in a normal exam. So I just want to emphasize here again. So remember, there's two types of exams. It's the MCQ, that uses the quiz tool that you might have used when you were doing an assignment, and then also the take-home exam. So when you think take-home, it's something that you're going to submit, so that you're going to scan it in or take pictures of it, and then you're going to upload that document. And this uses the same tool that you used when you on my modules when you submitted written assignments. So just be familiar with the two. One is the MCQ. It's usually a quiz, where the take-home is a written assignment that you need to upload. So also when you approach these two, if it's MCQ, it's most likely going to be using the Moodle proctoring tool that uses the webcam. If it's going to be the take-home exam, it most likely is going to be the Invigilator app. So you can already know more or less just by the type of exams, what type of proctoring you're going to be using. So just to get started, we do have a video over here as well, but I just want to emphasize, when you click on the link, you'll need to sign in with your student number and myUnisa password. So this is exactly the same as you would sign into the normal myUnisa. You click on the login button. Now, the first time you're going to access this site, it's going to ask you to enroll. So please just be look out for this button. The first time you click on the link, you log in. This is the page that you will see, and you will need to click on this button, Enroll Me. On this site, you will then have the options of the two types of exams. You'll notice there's the MCQ exam and then also the take-home exam. So for the MCQ, you will use the Moodle proctoring tool, the webcam, while with the take-home exam, you will use the Invigilator app. So that's why it's very important that you covered all the content already. You know how to set up your webcam, and you have set up the Invigilator app if you're going to be using it for your exams. So remember, before you can register for the Invigilator app, make sure one of your modules do require the Invigilator app. So once let's quickly have a practical demonstration. So once you click on the button, you'll have to insert your student number and your password. It will open up the page. So it just gives you, again, just the introduction of what this page is about. Links back to if you missed any of these guides, make sure that you have completed them. So at the bottom, you'll notice then the MCQ and the take-home exam. So I'm just quickly going to switch my camera here so that the multiple choice exam works. So remember, always allow the use of the camera. This pop-up that's on here at the top. So click allow. If you accidentally block the camera, you'll need to click on your browser window again, and here always allow the camera. You'll notice then it's blocked. It's usually got like a red line through it just to indicate that it is blocked. So when the pop-up comes, make sure that you select allow camera. As always, when you start with the exam, read the instructions carefully. There's examination rules. It will give you a brief outline of what this is about and what proctoring you will be using for this exam. And then also look at how many attempts you've got for this exam. For the mock one, we actually gave you 10. So you've got quite a lot of time or chances to test it out to make sure everything is working on all your devices. Always when you start off with your normal exams, have a look, when does it open and when does it close? Remember, you have to submit within that period. It does give you a little bit of a grace period afterwards, but make sure that you complete as soon as possible. So here you'll get the message that you'll notice to continue with this quiz attempt, you must open your webcam. So that is very important that you have to allow that. And then it will take some pictures randomly during the quiz. So once you're ready, you can get started and you can select attempt quiz now. So as you saw previously, when David presented, you'll have your picture on here. Remember, it must be center and very clear. You have to agree with the validation process, and then also make sure you read all this important information regarding the webcam and also the time limit that you will be having. So we'll start the 10th. And from here, as mentioned, MCQs are almost the exact same as the quiz tool. So you can go through very quickly and answer all the questions. So you'll just notice here on the right-hand side that the webcam is open, and so you can make sure that your picture is always clear when you attempt this assessment. So remember, you can always browse very quickly for all the questions as well. So I don't want to do it too slowly because this is really, you have to test your capabilities and you have to do this without any support from the guides when you actually come to attempt these mock exams. So once you finish the attempt, you'll notice you don't need to do anything else. As long as the webcam is working, there's no additional apps you have to download or anything during the session. It will just take random pictures. You will finish it as a normal quiz assessment. You can always return if there's answers that you missed. You can even click on the link, for instance, to specific questions. But once you're happy with all your questions that you've answered, you can submit all and finish. So submit all and finish again, and you will be taken back to the main page where it will give you a little summary of that you finish and on what day that you submit. So remember, if you can, perhaps take a screenshot of this or take a photo of your camera. And if you've got another chance, you can always reattempt the quiz as well if you still have enough time to complete the assessment. So if we go back, we can then also have a look at the take-home exam. So remember, this is one that you're going to most likely do in Microsoft Word. You're going to type it out, or you're going to type it out on or write it out on paper. Then you'll have to scan it in with your phone. So read the instructions very carefully, especially when you get to your real exams as well. Make sure what is all the requirements. So for this one, you'll need to have at least 2 pages so that you can test all the functionality. You can write it out or you can type it on a Word document and see how do you actually submit in the different ways. So for this one, we're using the Invigilator app. So when you start this, you should already have the Invigilator app installed. They were actually very kind to create a special demo that you can use for this one. So this one is an hour and a half, but you can always finish it in a lot less time. So as per normal exam, you will start reading instructions. You will perhaps also then download the exam question paper. This will give you what you need to do, the questions that you need to answer. So once you get to this page, this is when you start the Invigilator app. So it's very important. Now is the time that the invigilation starts. So you'll open up the app, you'll go through the prompts, take the selfie, take a picture of your identity document, and during the session you will be prompted as well to take a screenshot of your workspace. And then at the end, you first upload to the Invigilator app, and then you come to UNISA within the allocated time that you still have left, and you come and add your submission. So very important, it's going to upload in the app. They're actually going to release a feature as well that if you scan it in with your phone and you don't have a scanner, you can save that PDF and upload that as well to myUNISA. But very importantly, upload in the app and then also come and upload on the exam. So as mentioned, this is a take-home exam, so it's going to be a document that you're going to submit. So once you're ready, you do add submission. You follow, I'll just go scroll back down to the bottom. As David mentioned earlier, make sure of the file size, the maximum number of files, as you can see, 1 in this case, and this one only accepts PDF. So you should have saved your document already in one PDF or combined it into one PDF. From here, it's very easy. Just add a submission, choose file. And then we can actually go here. Let me just quickly get a document for us. I'll just open the sample PDF. So upload this document And then all you need to do is select Save Changes. So you'll get this bar over here that says Submitted for grading. Also very important, always click on your document again. It will open up. So just to make sure that this is the correct one that you submitted. So if it's wrong, you can always go edit submission again. If there's still time left, you can remove the document and upload the correct document. So once you've done this, you've got the green box. If your document is correct, you are done submitting your exam on my modules. So this was just a quick introduction to the mock exams. But as I mentioned, please go through all the content first. Make sure you understand all of this. You should really, by this time, have a good knowledge about the tools that you can be using, have it set up correctly if you're going to need it, and then use the applicable one that you're going to be using for your exams. And so in the future, if there's any changes, we will update this as well. And remember, you can come multiple times and test out to make sure that you are ready and comfortable for the exams. So thank you very much. I'll hand over back to Denzel.
Thank you very, very much, Richard. So ladies and gentlemen, as you can see that Richard unpacked this, it's not so complex. It's quite simple, right? So but the main thing here is get onto that mock exam site. I can't stress this more. We've created a site for you so you can actually explore, test out the proctoring system, and as you'll find, these are not complicated MCQ questions. It's actually just 5 MCQ questions, general knowledge on my exams, and we've got a simple take-home exam that literally asks you to explain what you understand by the my exams. It's not to test your knowledge on it, but for you to see and familiarize yourself with the platform and the proctoring tools. So ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing more that I can actually say to you besides this. Get onto that mock site. Test it for yourself before you get into the exams so you have enough experience and familiarity with the platform. I'm actually going to ask Richard to post the link on the QA site for us as well so that you can get onto that platform. Richard, thank you very much for that, Richard. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the questions that I've seen on the platform is when David was talking about the different exams, one student actually asked, so is there a difference between the MCQ and the take-home exams? Yes, there's very much a difference between both. And to unpack this a little bit about us, about the different types of exams, and also to give you a little bit of information on how you can prepare yourself. Not so much about how you're writing, but how you can actually prepare for the online examinations, the take-home exams and the MCQs. We've actually invited Dr. Salosh Cavender, and she's a curriculum specialist at the university. So she really trains academics, trains curriculum advisors as well on how to design curriculum, how to design good assessments. So you're going to get first-hand information about some of the tips and some of the clues that you can unpack for yourself and learn as you prepare for the examination. So it's my pleasure at this time to invite Dr. Salosh Cavender. Salosh, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I know you are also very busy and also are unwell, but thank you very much, Salosh, for joining us and sharing some of these insights with our students and preparing them for the upcoming exams. Thank you, Salosh. I hand over to you. I think Dr. Salosh is having a problem there while she's getting on board with the presentation. I think let me ask Ingrid some questions. Ingrid, while we are in terms of the normal assessments, what's the best way a student can prepare for time management? I mean, you've had students that have encountered different assessments. In terms of time management, what's the best way to manage time in an examination, Ingrid?
Thank you, Denzel. Usually the best way to look at the different weighting that your module has, that the questions have. So if the question has, you know, if you have a, let's say, a 2-hour exam and the question, you know, one question counts 5 marks and one question counts 10 marks, you know, you would spend less time on the 5-mark question than on the 10-mark question. I think, and the same would go for if you're looking at multiple choice, just, you know, look at how many total questions you have, and then decide how much time you're going to be spending on each question.
And in terms of, you know, when students are answering MCQs, do you advise students to actually concentrate on the good ones first, easy ones, or what? How do you think students should prepare for MCQs?
You know, MCQs is always a little bit difficult to think about. So I would definitely make sure that you know how much time you have in total for each question. So if each question, you know, if you have 10 questions in 10 minutes, that means you have 1 minute per question. So try and keep to that. Depending on how your lecturer has set up, some might not have set up for you to go back. So you should answer, you know, and go and relook at the questions. So you should try and answer the questions as you can as they come up. But yeah, I would, if one strategy that you can use if you're not 100% sure about the answer is to eliminate the obviously wrong answers, and then hopefully you're left with 2 you know, options that you can eliminate then from. And if nothing else works, guess.
Yeah, I think those are some nice tips that you've given them. But I think more specifically, you know, as students prepare, I think just get in there with your mindset that you're going to do the best, and you might experience some challenges, but as Ingrid has pointed out, this is a difficult space for you to work with, but think about yourself in the examination and be positive as you get into the session. Okay, I see Dr. Salosh coming. Salosh, I see you are sharing your screen. I'm not sure, we don't see the full screen, but I think you can go ahead with the view that you've got. I see it's a bit visible on our side instead of us losing time. So please go ahead, Salosh.
Good evening, everyone, and my sincere apologies. We are here to walk this exam journey with you, and I'm going to orientate you to the different exam formats, as well as the different types of questions. I will also share with you different strategies on how to approach the different exam formats. Students, firstly, you need to know the exam format for every module. Exam formats will differ for each module. Therefore, I suggest that you draw up a table with maybe 3 columns, including your module name, your exam type, and the date. This will help you to get familiar with the different exam format and will help you to prepare accordingly. So, in my presentation, I'm going to share with you some strategies on how to approach essay questions, short answer questions, open book or take-home exams, case-based scenarios, randomized MCQ. I saw in the chat that someone asked, what is MCQ? MCQ refers to multiple choice questions and also problem calculations. Now, let us look at essay exams. Essay questions require an argument and supporting evidence, which comes from the knowledge gained from your modules, your readings, your seminars, discussions, and assignments. Here are some strategies on how to approach your essay questions. Firstly, during the first 5 to 10 minutes of the exam, write down the relevant points you can remember on all your essay questions that you are going to answer. Before you write, analyze your question. Look at key words and topic words. Work out what aspect of the topic you have been asked to write about. Do not just write, but read the question. Develop an argument for your essay from the question and include it in your introduction. In that way, it is going to show the examiner that you understand the question and the content. Structure the points in the body paragraph so that one point follows the other logically and clearly. As a general rule, one paragraph is equal to 1 point, and every paragraph that you write must be supported by an example, an explanation, and evidence. If you do not provide evidence, then it means that you are making a sweeping claim. Structure your exam question in the usual way, which means that you need to have an introduction, a body, paragraphs, and conclusion. Short answer questions. Unlike essays, short answer questions require concise written answer to a question using complete sentences. It's aimed at testing your ability to integrate what you have learned in the module and to apply the knowledge. Different types of cognitive levels will be included in your short answer questions. When we talk about cognitive levels, we talk about, you'll find easy questions, average type of questions, and more challenging or difficult questions. Here are some strategies for answering short answer questions. Strategy number 1, read the instructions carefully. Note how many questions you need to answer in each section. Read all the questions on the exam before you begin writing. Consider the mark distribution and divide your time accordingly. It's important for you to read all the questions, because in that way you will know which questions will need more time and you will allocate more time for the more difficult and challenging questions. Pay close attention to the wording of the question. Ask yourself what you are being asked to do and how you are required to do it. Do not just write about what you know about a topic in general. Try to leave enough time to read over your answers at the end of the exam to make sure each response includes the required components or answers. Keep your answers to one paragraph and include key words or phrases from your question. In that way, it shows the examiner that you are answering the question. How long your answer is going to be will depend on the mark allocation. Now let us look at problem or calculation questions. You will find that problem questions vary in formats. Whether you are doing a quiz type, online quiz, or whether you are doing a take-home exams, you are going to encounter problem questions. So the problem questions can take the format of multiple choice questions, short answers, long calculations, essays, different formats. They frequently test your ability to apply the problem-solving skills you learned in the module to new types of questions. So here are some strategies for answering problem-solving questions. Read through the entire exam before beginning and budget your time accordingly to how much of time each question is worth. Do the easy questions first to warm up your brain and to calm your nerves. Read the questions carefully and rephrase them in your own words. Clearly take note of misconceptions or assumptions and discuss these points clearly. You'll find that a problem-solving exam would often ask you, for example, to identify a problem in a case study, or for example, to provide recommendations to a problem, or to offer strategies to solve a problem. So you need to be very, very careful or read the questions carefully to find out exactly what is expected of you. Now, let us look at case studies or scenarios. Students, you'll find that whether you are taking a multiple choice questions, which is MCQs, or a take-home exams, or any type of exams, you will encounter case studies or scenarios. Some of the case studies might be short, some might be long, but the essence of a case study means the analysis part. So, what is a case study or scenario? Scenario questions require students to integrate key concepts of a module, to apply theories to a practical context. and to demonstrate the ability to analyze and to evaluate. It often requires a longer answer, so they will be allocated more time and more marks. So let's look at some strategies for answering case studies. Analyze and interpret the question carefully, like you would do with all other questions. Look for command words and any specific focus. Command words means the instruction words. Whether we want you to analyze, to evaluate, to describe, to discuss. Read the case study. Underline or note words or numbers that relate to the module concept or indicate a particular kind of problem. This is very important because when you read a case study, immediately you need to make some kind of reference or identification of what is in your module. Think how you would integrate your answer. Remember, you will have to mention both the issue from the scenario and the course material content that it relates to. So you must be able to make this connection with the issue, what's in the case study, or the scenario with what is there in your module. Check again that you are following the commands. For example, if the question asks you to make recommendations, have you included recommendations? Or have you just merely described a concept? If a scenario is worth 20 marks, make at least 5 different points about 4 different concepts, and that is how you will earn your 20 marks. Now, let us look at multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions includes a statement or questions followed by 4 or 5 options or choices. You must select the best answer from the choices given. And selecting the best answer is sometimes not a straightforward process because it can be very challenging. So if you look at this example in this illustration, according to the passage, which of these make the best pet? So there is a statement which has the question. It is called a stem, and then the correct answer is called a key, and the incorrect answers are called the distractors. So here are some strategies to approach MCQs. Firstly, budget your time. If you know that you have 50 questions to answer within 3 hours, please budget your time. In an MCQ question, you are bound to have some easy, some average, and some really difficult and challenging questions. So budget your time, budget more time for the more difficult questions. Read the question carefully to determine the precise requirement, because in every MCQ, there's bound to be some tricks or some traps in it. Answer the question in your mind before you read the options. Read the multiple choice question in its entirety thereafter, before glancing over the answer options. Underline or circle the keywords. Read every answer option. So remember that when you have an MCQ, you read the stem, which is a statement which has a question, and you try to answer that before you're looking at the options. So after you have answered that in your mind, now you go back and you read the options. Don't skip this step, because most MCQ want you to find the most correct answer or the best answer. There may be multiple correct answers. Even if answer A appears to be the correct choice, do not skip reading the remaining answer choices, because answer B, C, or D may be even a better option. Use the process of elimination, which Dr. Murray mentioned. Increase your odds by eliminating answers you know are incorrect. Rather than looking at what is correct, look at what is incorrect and strike it off. If you narrow your options, you increase your guessing chance. And this should be right towards the end when you are not able to get the correct answer. Make an educated guess. Pay attention to these words, not, sometimes, always, and never. And these can be real distractors in your MCQ. Now let us look at take-home or open book exams. What is a take-home exam? It's written outside of a supervised exam room. Students have a few days or maybe a few hours to complete the work and to submit. The strategies for completing a take-home exam: analyze the question, use practical examples to illustrate your point. Colleagues, what I want to say here is we are aware that many students will consult their study material, visit a friend Google to get answers. So to avoid those kind of situation, most of the lecturers or all the lecturers were advised or were supported to design questions that would not allow students to get the answers easily. So most of the take-home exams will have application type of questions where we are going to ask you to provide practical examples to illustrate your point. Plan your response and use your notes in an intelligent way without copying. Take-home exam will not expect you to regurgitate information or to produce information that you memorized. Use details and organization to demonstrate your thinking with the take-home exams. Revise your work. Don't submit the first draft. Make sure that it is a master draft. Beware of plagiarism and reference your work. In conclusion, I want to say life is like a multiple choice question. Sometimes the choices confuse you, not the question itself. And good luck to your exams.
Thank you so much for that, Salosh. I think you provided some really good snippets for our students as they start to engage with the upcoming exams, especially how to answer those MCQs, those distractors, those stems, those keys, and some of those points on take-home exams. I think those were very important. So ladies and gentlemen, I know there was a lot of content that was provided. So if you missed out some of this content, this is going to be recorded and it is going to be posted on that open course site. So you can always get back on that open course site and watch that specific section that Salosh just mentioned now. Those are really valuable insights because it actually talks about how academics think when they are designing some of these questions. So thank you very much for that, Salosh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the question is, so you've heard about the proctoring app, so you've heard about different exam types. What support is UNISA giving to our students? What do we have support that we have in place? And there are two elements of support that we want to unpack quickly for you. And the first element of support is the Student Support Contact Center. And we're privileged this evening to have with us Jessie Sofolo, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the Student Support Contact Center, which you will then can engage in for more support as we unpack the exams and as you prepare for the upcoming exams. Thank you very much, Jessie, for joining us this evening. And I know you also have your busy schedules, so thank you very much for taking the time off and providing our students with some of this valuable information on how they can contact the university at this critical time. Thank you, Jessie, and I hand over the platform to you.
Good evening, students. Good evening, colleagues. We are here to share with you on how you can engage with the contact center and log your inquiries as we support you on the journey that you are going to be partaking on writing your exams. On the colleagues, I'm not sure if I'm audible. On the presentation, I'll just also share where we are. It doesn't matter from which location we're operating from, but for knowledge purposes, we are based in 2 campuses. We are in Pretoria and the Florida office. And I've also added some information that shows. Am I audible, colleagues?
Yes, you're audible, Jessie. Continue. Thanks.
Sorry about that. I just had some background noise. So we basically just sharing the locations that we're operating from for knowledge purposes, and also we highlighting to you our operating hours. The contact center under normal circumstances, we operate from 8 to 4. During our peak hours, our operation commences at 8 o'clock and we finish at 7 o'clock. We also open slots on Saturdays to support students in whatever inquiries that they might have for us. For the preparations in supporting you for the examinations, we've got our 0800 number. We've got our mailbox for data inquiries. If you'd like to follow up on you didn't receive any data, your number is not reflecting on the list for data, or you'd like to change your number, and all those data related inquiries, that's the email address that you'd use for us. For the examinations, it's exam inquiries at unisa.ac.za. We also use my module 2022 as well to support the exams. We've newly ring-fenced the exams web chat, where you'll be chatting us via your DM on Facebook and on Twitter. It's ring-fenced under your myExam platform, where you'd find your timetable. There's a blue bubble at the bottom there where you can chat with us so that we can assist you with all the inquiries that are related to exam, for us to be able to support you. The contact center has 2 managers for the office in Mackleneck. We have Mr. Kaka. We've added the email address there. We have Carol Estreisen, who is based in our Florida office, and then you have myself. These email addresses are there to be able to assist you when you inquire, when you've already reached out to your inquire mailbox, you've reached out to the data inquiries and exam inquiries and all the other previously mentioned mailboxes, and you're not getting any help. You are welcome to escalate to us, and so that we can prioritize, as we are prioritizing the exams, and attempt to assist you speedily. I've also included in the presentation our call flow, so that you are aware that what happens when you call the 0800 number. When you call the number, you firstly, when you dial the number 0800, you then given an option, you get a welcome message. After the welcome message, you then given different options of call flow, and the exams are ring-fenced under option number 4. That's an option that you'll choose for you to be directly located with the consultants that are skilled and that will be able to support you during your exams. The consultant will ask you for verification of your details to make sure that they are speaking to the right person. They will attempt to assist you, failing which, if they are unable to assist you, if your matter is a complex one, we have a WhatsApp group that has all the stakeholders that are there to support you as a student to be able to write your exam successfully without adding additional stress. The consultant will then escalate your matter to the supervisor, who will then post it on the group so that we speedily able to resolve your inquiry. We also have a similar call flow for your the similar call flow that you would have to as the same as the one for calls. Your emails as well will follow the same route. The consultant will attempt to resolve your matter, failing which they will escalate it to the relevant consultant. I'd like to end there, Dr. Chetty. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessie, for articulating that for us, especially how the process works and how the students can get those key information that they need. So as I said, ladies and gentlemen, you have this information also available for you on the Open Course site as well. So please get that information on the Open Course site. But Jessie has so nicely unpacked the process, and I think that is very important that you understand the process of how student queries are being addressed at UNISA. So thank you very, very much for that, Jessie, and for articulating that so clearly for us. At this time, I want to move on